You're sitting in a meeting. He interrupts you for the third time in 15 minutes. You feel the heat rise, the specific heat that begins between your shoulder blades and ends in your jaw. And then you do what you have done your whole adult life. You smile. You say, "Good point." You hand him the floor he was already taking, and walking to your car, you tell yourself it wasn't worth it. You don't notice that you said sorry too. You always say sorry. This is the anger you apologize for. The man who has just performed the small, daily act of swallowing his own no. This is not a video about anger management. There is nothing to manage. There is something to retrieve. Carl Jung called what you are doing the shadow, and the parts of yourself you bury do not die. They go underground. They run the kingdom from the basement. The warrior you swallowed at 12 is still down there. He is angry. He has been waiting. The lie has a name. The lie is that you have evolved. The lie is that you used to be the kind of man who lost his temper, and now you are not. And that this is a victory. You tell yourself you are choosing your battles. You tell yourself you are above it. You tell yourself that anger costs more than it pays. You watch other men explode, the man who keys the car, the man who shouts at the waitress, the man who terrifies his children, and you decide you are the calmer one, the wiser one, the grown one. The lie is that your silence is sovereignty. The lie is that your apology is humility. The lie is that the heat behind your shoulder blades is just a feeling, and feelings do not run the day. But you have not chosen your battles. You have surrendered them, quietly, with a smile, over 15 years. And the man who has surrendered every battle does not become a wise man. He becomes an empty one. Here is the truth. You are not a calm man. You are a man with a buried warrior. There is a difference. A man who has never had aggression to manage is at peace. A man who has had aggression and learned to wield it is dangerous. A man who has had aggression and apologized for it until it went underground is something else entirely. He is haunted. The warrior did not die. He went to the basement. He is still there. And he is not quiet down there. The headache after dinner, the jaw that wakes up tight, the hollow week, the flat depression no therapist can place. That is him knocking. Because what we bury, Carl Jung wrote in Ion in 1951, takes on a life of its own. The affects we find unacceptable do not disappear. They become autonomous. They become possessive. They become the unseen voice in the conversation you are now too tired to have. You are not above your anger. You are below it. You did not choose peace. You signed a treaty you do not remember signing with a man you no longer remember being. There is a name for the man you have become. The Jungian psychologist Robert Moore, with Douglas Gillette, wrote the book in 1990. King, warrior, magician, lover. The warrior is one of the 4 mature archetypes. The warrior is aggression in service of devotion, the king's sword, the father's no, the line that holds when the room wants to soften it. But the warrior has 2 shadows. Moore named them the sadist and the masochist. The sadist is the man who uses aggression cruelly, the rager, the father who terrorizes the dinner table. You looked at him and decided you would never be him. So you went to the other pole. You became the masochist. You bowed your head. You apologized first. You took the hit. You smiled at the man who interrupted you and called it grace. Both poles are the same wound, expressed at opposite ends. The sadist gives the wound away. The masochist keeps it. Neither man is integrated. Neither man is the warrior. Both are the boy who never learned to hold the line. James Hollis wrote it cleaner in Under Saturn's Shadow in 1994. Men's lives are violent because their souls have been violated. The man who apologizes for his anger is not a man without violence. He is a man whose violence has been turned inward, onto his own posture, his own voice, his own right to stand at the table. And it will not stay inward forever. It leaks, always. This is not a clinical essay on dysregulation. This is not a stoic case for equanimity. The warrior does not need to be managed. He needs to be invited back to the kingdom he was exiled from when you were 7. The warrior cannot be summoned. He has been waiting 40 years. He can be invited. Carl Jung called what comes next Stage 2 of shadow integration, acceptance. Most men never reach it because they cannot accept what they refuse to name. Acceptance is not approval. It is locating the buried man and shaking his hand without flinching. 3 sharpenings. They are not steps. They are practices. The first sharpening is to catch the sorry in the moment it leaves your mouth. Not in therapy on Tuesday. Now, at the kitchen counter, in the Slack thread. When the brother shows up an hour late and you hear yourself say, "All good," man, that is the sharpening. You are not telling him off. You are telling yourself the truth. You said sorry because you were trained to. The trainer is not in the room anymore. You can stop. The second sharpening is to find the body's record. The anger had a direction before you taught yourself to apologize for it. The heat behind the shoulder blades was pointing somewhere. The jaw was pointing somewhere. Locate the exact Tuesday when the line was crossed. Write it down. The warrior is not a feeling. He is a compass. He has been pointing at the same betrayal for 20 years, and you have been calling the needle a malfunction. The third sharpening is the hardest. It is the sentence you do not soften. The no without the qualification. The boundary without the apology. The colleague interrupts you for the 3rd time, and instead of smiling, you say, quietly, without raising your voice, without explaining yourself, "I was speaking." The room will go still. Your jaw will unlock. This is not aggression. This is gravity. The warrior will not roar. He will simply nod from the basement because the trapdoor has finally opened, and he is being walked for the first time up the stairs. The man who has done this work is not louder. He's not more aggressive. He does not shout. He has become something the bully never was. A man who can be angry without becoming smaller. A man who can be at peace without becoming nothing. His anger is a compass, not a weapon. His silence is sovereignty. His no does not require an apology. His yes does not require a smile. You will spend 40 years apologizing for being a man who once had something to bury. The sentence that ends those 40 years takes about 10 seconds. It begins in the next conversation. When the room asks you to soften, you can simply not. The trapdoor is open. The warrior is on the stairs. He has been waiting since you were 8. If you have not yet watched Robert Bly's Iron John on this channel, watch it next. The wild man at the bottom of the lake and the buried warrior under the basement floor are the same myth. They are waiting for the same man, you, to walk down and bring them home. See you in the next one.